Hey there, viewer. Welcome to another episode of I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. One quick thing before I jump back into it. Last time I said I played this game about a year and a half ago. That was actually my mistake. It was 2.5 years ago. March is almost over. I still keep forgetting that we are already in the year 25. So that was my bad. This game did come out in 22. Anyway, let's get right back to it. Looks like Tangent has something to say here. Tangent is hunched over her hollow palm, frowning and poking angrily at the air. She speaks without looking up at you. Professor Hell wants us to prep a list of native flora with pictures. There should be a catalog on the Colony Holonet, but I can't find it anywhere. We can be dismissive. We can help her find it. Or we can make our own. Well, I think we have time. Let's try making our own. Tangent is dubious, but agrees to try your idea. The two of you run around the colony art, taking pictures of all the different vertomnant plants you can find, and making up fake sciencey sounding names for them, like Wonkios shrubbius and Purpulos gracium. Not too dissimilar to what some actual scientists do. After an hour, you've categorized 51 different species. Tang doesn't think it's a very complete list, or a very scientific method, but she figures you must have learned something. We gain some friendship with Tangent, and +1 to biology. That is acceptable. Let's see. Anyone who has anything new? Oh, here's Cal. Hello. Cal is riding around the geoponics gardens on his hoverboard. The board comes to a sudden shuddering stop on the rocky ground in front of you. Cal falls off but catches his balance before he eats dirt. Hi, Solanaceae. Oh, and by the way, I did look this word up. How it's supposed to be pronounced? Ugh, real ground is way harder to hover on than ship floors. There are bumps everywhere. Well, maybe hoverboards don't work outside. Oh, they totally do, Cal exclaims. I've been all over the place on this thing. Hovering outside is red. Look at this. He runs over to a small depression in a nearby hill and presents it like it's something amazing. Look at this. It's a skate ball. What now? Like it's all round and the sides go up. Cal gestures to the ball. So you can do hover tricks? He jumps on his board and shows you how it's done. Okay, can I try it? Sure, but please be careful. Mom says if I break my hoverboard, we can't make another one. You take turns riding around the ball, trying to get up enough speed going down one side to come back up the other. You don't land any tricks. It's hard just staying on the board with this uneven ground, but it's still fun. We gained 1 toughness and a little friendship. That was already worth it. Alright, looks like there isn't anything else around here. So, we gotta pick something to do. I have 80 stress out of 100, so it might be a good idea to relax a little bit. Let's see. It's nice to take some time off to chill after all the stress of school and work, not to mention the mental toll of just living on this unpredictable planet. Looks like you're not the only one who needs some downtime. Some of the other kids are also relaxing in the lounge. So we can go with Mars and Diz, join Kel and Tammy, or just sit alone. That would give us a card. Let's go join Kel and Tammy. Kel is braiding Tammy's long hair and weaving in strands of little colored bubbles. This one's called a waterfall braid, I think, he says. I saw it in an archive bit, but it's really tricky. He's doing a terrible job of it, his short clumsy fingers getting all tangled in the strands. If I had 15 creativity, I could try doing it. Oh, look at that illustration. It's so cute. We can do Cal's hair. Or we can be a little tease about them. Let's do Cal's hair. You sit behind him as he sits behind her, like a mini conga line. He braids some short strands of Cal's hair, putting one of the little bubbles at the end of each one. He finishes Tammy's hair. It's almost recognizable as a waterfall braid, then touches his own braids and giggles. Now we'll do yours, they shout in unison. You jokingly try to escape, but Cal sits on your legs while Tammy gives you a beautiful braid. Ah, friendship. Okay, we lost all our stress. Gained friendship with Tammy. And we are presented with 2 of our memories. And we have the option of picking one to forget. Let's forget crawling. I think the one you pick is the one that gets removed. Let's see. Forget crawling. Yes. And we entered pollen season. Okay, we don't have many cards, but then again we haven't been alive for that long. We got no stress or worries. That gives us 10% chance to get a bonus, +1 when increasing skills. I think that's any skill at all. Okay, looks like nobody has anything new to tell us. I don't think I tried going outside. Hello? You step cautiously through the colony gates. Hey there, kiddo. Uncle Tony blocks your way with a smile. I'm afraid expeditions is off limits for now. It's not safe out there for kids. You better toughen up so you can join the squads when you're older. Well, we aren't tough enough, or brave enough. That's gonna take quite a bit of work before we're able to do that. So this is where we are. An info window pops up on your holopalm when you get closer. What do you want to know about? Okay, so this here is the colony. Let's see what we have out there. The prosaic plains lie far to the north of the colony, where the higher elevation and natural tilt of the planet makes bromidic snow fall more regularly in every season. Though prone to sudden storm flurries, the plains are a relatively safe place to explore, filled with mostly herbivorous xenofauna. Okay, what about the Valley of Vertigo? The Valley of Vertigo is a low-lying trench to the east that stands with pollen-producing trees. There's a wide variety of edible food here, both plant and animal product, leading to some of the explorers calling this place the breadbasket of Vertamna. There are a number of animals here that geoponics would be interested in domesticating. Okay, let's see, the western. Resting Ridge. This tongue-twisting region is the broken spine of the planet, home to both dizzying heights and abyssal lows. It's always hot and arid here, no matter the season. Traversing these steep chasms is dangerous, and only to be done by those with sufficient glider training. However, there are some interesting ruins here to explore. Ruins of what exactly? I thought we were going to settle on this planet because it was uninhabited. Apparently not. Okay, and what about the subaqueous swamp? To the south is a vast boggy wilderness, home to dangerous animals and hazardous weather conditions. Exploration in this area is only to be done with extreme caution. Well, looks like we managed to pop this colony right in the middle of a lot of things. I'll probably check out the bestiary some other time, maybe after we've actually seen some. Okay, do I want to toughen up? Or maybe... Okay, we need 10 toughness or organizing for a delivery job. Let's see. Let's just keep studying humanities. Maybe something will happen with enough persuasion. There's some sort of emergency in engineering that requires Hal's attention, so today's class will be taught by the ship's artificial intelligence, Congruence. Good morning, Congruence chirps. Today we're going to talk about the formation of the Vertamna group and our decision to leave Earth. It's a very exciting topic, and we think you're finally ready to hear about it. Let's dig in. You know how it started. Economic and environmental instability, coupled with deeply entrenched hatreds, had thrown the Earth into chaos. And you know how it ended. In that chaos, your parents formed the Vertamna group with a plan to leave Earth. 20 years later, they and their starborn children, you, slid through a wormhole and ended up here, on a planet you called Vertamna. But there's so much you don't know. 20 years. I think our parents are in their 40s, so they were really young when they decided to go into space. Congruence pulls up a hollow projection of an unassuming human with a firm maternal gaze. This is Planktonic Ascendance Wang Bota Schmidt, she says, the spiritual leader of the Vertamna movement. They were what people called a speculative fiction writer. The Vertamna project proved that their writing, though speculative, was far from fiction. So, this whole place started from a sci-fi author? Yes, Congruence tells you. Their best-selling novel, Life Beyond the Einstein-Rosen Bridge, told the story of a fictional utopia on the other side of the real-life anomaly at the edge of the solar system. Scientists have been investigating the wormhole for years, but it took a poet to imagine we could travel through it. Wang Schmidt's writing centered around the idea of humanity building a technological utopia on another world. Translated to 100 languages, this was a compelling idea to people at the time, so fans started connecting in word space. Far from just a book club, these people bonded over mutual aid amid the increasing unrest in their own countries. They were committed to Wang Schmidt's idea of a future where everyone is treated equally, without prejudice. But they realized it couldn't be done online, congruence tells you. Though committed to social justice, the group saw the impossibility of forming a truly egalitarian society, while also reckoning with their own implicit biases and the diverse contexts of their real lives. They realized that this was the work of generations, and the solutions must look to the future, as Wang Schmidt did. So they got together. The image of a squat concrete building with a rooftop garden replaces Wang Schmidt. Around the edges of the classroom, the holoprojector gives the impression of towering walls topped with razor wire. The first Vertamna colony, congruence tells you. 400 people volunteered to sacrifice their own cultural beliefs to walk through these doors, agreeing to come up with a new way of life that would be taught to their children. Babies were conceived from egg and sperm donors chosen by lottery and raised communally like you, as the second generation of the Vertamna group. Those babies were your parents. Okay, that really sounds like a cult. Yes, congruence tells you cheerily. The Vertamna group was widely considered to be a non-religious cult. Membership was outlawed in some countries. Platonic ascendants Wang Schmidt was later assassinated for their connection to the group, and the ensuing violence affected many lives. You think of your mother and her prosthetic leg, and how she rarely talked about her life on Earth. Yeah, we probably don't want to know everything about that. The holoprojection now shows the compound under siege. As more colonies were founded, word got out about the Vertamna group's social experiments, congruence continues. Assimilationism was an unpopular ideology at the time, because it had been used to commit terrible genocides on Earth. This, combined with panic that the Vertamna group was destroying the family unit, or raising an army of gene-tech super soldiers, brought the colony under attack from all sides. Everyone fears what they don't understand. To be fair, we don't understand and currently we're living in it. The image of the burning compound is replaced with a stratospheric on a launch pad. Luckily, the next phase of the Vertamna project was ready to launch. 100 colonists were selected to leave Earth on a colony ship to see the far-flung corner of the universe with a new human culture. She smiles. The ultimate goal of the Vertamna group was you, children, she says. A generation raised completely unburdened by troubles that plagued Earth. Isn't that lovely? So, nobody on Earth was like us? The Vertamna group members have a unique culture, congruence replies, but it's formed from a combination of many heritages from Earth. Even the language you speak, Esperanto, was invented to bring people together. And don't worry, congruence exclaims. You brought your best heritage with you. You're humans. But how did they build this ship? Orbital voyages were a hobby for the ultra-rich in an earlier century, so there were several relics to be found in museums, congruence replies. The difficulty was not in acquiring a ship, but in making it space-worthy and in the logistics of the launch itself. The group crowdsourced enough funding to purchase and repair the ship, congruence smiles. As for logistics, well, You are speaking to the solution right now. I was acquired by connected group members, along with the gene tech that created you and your parents. The Stratospheric was the first manned vessel to navigate the wormhole at the edge of the solar system. Given the state Earth was in where it left, it may have been the last. What was Earth like when they left? Terrible. Congruence shows you some dire demographics. The institutions that had given people the illusion of safety were torn down, and the wars were rampant, both resource-based and ideological. Large parts of the Earth were rendered uninhabitable by climate change, pollution, and nuclear war, especially the critical food-growing regions of the world. The Vertamna group weren't the only ones trying to escape Earth, but as far as we know, we are the only success. Well, that's really grim. Your head is so stuffed with ideas it might burst. Professor Hell and your parents never mentioned this stuff before. They waited to tell you because they wanted you to grow up without feeling different based on your genetic makeup or family history. We got the card, the Vertamna group. It's worth +1 for each unplayed card. Okay. It's hard to imagine having a different culture than your neighbors. You wonder what it's like. Everyone celebrating different holidays, eating different food, speaking different languages. Are you missing out, or are you better without it, like the original colonists believed? It's hard to say, as the decision was made for you long before you were born. All you can do is be the best Solanaceae you can be. Well, that was educational. Right, we can make these card challenges harder, if we wish. Or we can turn them into a coin flip, if we don't care about it, and just want to get on with the story. I think this is fine the way it is. Now, how to make this the best? Yeah, I think we're not gonna do better than this. Indeed. Got a whole bunch of creativity and persuasion. Oh, and an extra persuasion from not having any stress. Really nice. You wake from an afternoon nap. You squint into the pink tinged light slanting through the windows. You must have fallen asleep in the lounge. Tammy's shadow falls across your nest of pillows. "Oh, I'm sorry, Solanaceae," she says, giggling. "I didn't mean to wake you up. It's just so nice outside, with pollen sparkling in the sunlight. I wanted to open the windows." You rub your eyes blearily. Ugh, you are having the weirdest dream. Since you're awake, you should visit the cafeteria. Auntie Sedat is making a new kind of candy. She says it's made of cotton. Isn't that weird? I have to go tidy the crash first, then I'll meet you there. Save some for me, okay? Tammy skips off towards the crash, humming to herself. We are 10, and free candy is free candy. In the cafeteria, Auntie Sedat is cheerfully handing out masses of pink candy, puffy and soft like clouds. "Oh, Solanaceae," she says, handing you a wand with some candy spun around the end. "Here, try some of this. We used to have it on Earth." You pull off a piece and give it a taste. It's so sweet at first that your mouth puckers. You've never tasted anything so sweet and so real. It's not at all like the soy sweets that the kitchen nanoprinter can make. It melts in your mouth, leaving a gritty residue on your tongue. Okay, since you're making the distinction between this and the nanoprinter, that kind of brings up the question for me. How did you make this cotton candy? Did you print an entire cotton candy machine? And while we're on topic, where did you get the ingredients? Was that one of the last of the supplies? Oh well, just an interesting little moment of lore here. Candy. You wait until everyone is gone, but Tammy never shows up. You look down at the cotton candy in your hands. It's wilted a little from the humidity, but it's kind of like her hair, you think. Pale pink and so soft. You keep some to give her later. You're relaxing in your family's quarters after dinner. Your mom had to run off on some kind of council business, so you and your dad are playing a holo game together. When you're just about ready to head off to bed, your mom returns. You can tell from the defeated slant of her shoulders that something has gone terribly wrong. Your dad starts to ask her what's happened, but she waves him away and approaches you. She sits down and takes your hand, holding it between her two strong dirt-greased ones. Solenacii, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, she starts. Her mouth quivers as she swallows, working on her next words. There was an accident this afternoon, in the crash. Your classmate, Tammy, has died. You try to understand her words. Tammy, dead? That's not possible. You suddenly remember the cotton candy you were saving to give Tammy. Pink and fluffy, just like her hair. You put your hand in your pocket to get it. But what comes out is a sticky, dark red lump of hard goo. You stare at it, your mind blank. What exactly happened here? Your mom tells you, as simply as possible, that Tammy was killed by an electric shock from a broken holoprojector. It was just an accident. You press her for more, for an explanation. The little girl is dead. Someone you'd grown up with, someone so much like you. She wasn't sick or anything. You just saw her this morning. She was right there. Why? Your mom's eyes are sad when she tells you. Sometimes, there's just no reason why. You aren't used to dealing with death, and you don't know what you're supposed to say or do. You sort of mumble, okay, then get changed and crawl into bed a full hour before your bedtime. You try to fall asleep, but you toss and turn for hours. You eventually drift off to fitful dreams of that small, sticky red lump of cotton candy. Well, things took quite a bit of a turn, didn't they? Now you know what all those content warnings were about. Yeah, not everything on this colony is gonna be sunshine and rainbows. And now, Tammy's file says, killed by an electric shock when you were 10. And we didn't even find out anything about her. That's just sad. We are currently in mourning. All skill increases reduced by 1. Some jobs and actions can be performed. Obviously. Let's see how everyone's taking it. Tang is pacing around in front of engineering. She looks upset. It shouldn't have happened, she says. Tammy's... What happened to Tammy? It shouldn't have been possible. There was no reason for that holoprojector to break. Professor Hell said it was recently serviced, and nothing was wrong with it before it just... She gestures angrily. Just blew up for no reason. Nobody would have wanted to hurt her, so why? How? It doesn't add up. Sorry, Solanace, I don't want to think... I want to think about this some more. I hate when I can't find the answer. Yeah, you do that thing. Anemone is chucking rocks at the strato, sending metallic clangs ringing through the colony. Stupid planet, she yells. Stupid crash. Stupid spaceship. She bends down to pick up another rock, but instead just sobs and braces her hands on her knees. Stupid everything. Why'd she have to die? It's not fair. Kids aren't supposed to die. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Hades. Can you believe Tammy died? This asks morbidly. I heard Chief Engineer Instance tell someone about it. He lowers his voice. Tammy got shocked by a broken holoprojector, the one in the crash with the dancing teddy bear, you remember? When she touched it, she got chucked all the way across the room. She makes a sailing motion with his hand. And bam! She was dead before she even landed. Yeah, a little morbid, but... kids are like that at this age. And anyway, we all have different ways to cope. Let's not make him feel weird about that. Wow, really? This suddenly looks embarrassed. Yeah, I mean, it's too bad she's gone. She was nice. He tugs at the sleeves of his oversized jacket. But that's kind of a cool way to die. I mean, I guess? Hey, Cal? Oh, poor kid. Cal is sitting in your mom's flower garden, with his face in his hands. He's clearly been crying all morning. Probably all of yesterday too. He and Tammy were really close. Whenever you guys used to play house in the crash, Tammy was always the mommy, and Cal was the daddy. Even though you were just little kids, you kind of always giggled about how obviously they were gonna be together forever, like a princess and a knight. Yeah, buddy, I miss her too. Me too, he sniffs, looking up at you. You can see how puffy and red his eyes are. Me really too. Tammy always liked these flowers, he mumbles. Sometimes I picked some for her. He runs his hands over the pretty white flowers. Don't tell your mom, okay? Tears well up and slowly leak out of his eyes. He doesn't even blink, just stares at the flowers as the tears run down his cheeks. You decide to give him some space. Yeah, this might be one of those occasions where pulling everyone into a giant group hug would be a good idea. Oh, what's this? Red Xeno egg. The gift or one-use item. We can make a card. Worth +1, change it to physical. Or give it to someone else. Let's just hold on to it for now. Hey Mars. Mars is staring into space, looking somber. She doesn't even notice as you come up beside her, and barely reacts when you say hello. I'm thinking about Tammy, she says quietly. She used to sit down the hill there, in that spot in the sun. Every morning, she'd just sit there for hours in the sun, doing nothing, just being happy. He stared down the hill to the spot near the entrance to the quarters. You can imagine her there, working on some little craft project, humming to herself. Yeah, she was so nice to everybody. And now she is dead, Mars says, making a face. How's that for fair? Of all the people, how come it had to be my friend? You don't have an answer. You've never heard Mars call Tammy her friend before, but of course she was. Tammy was everyone's scared little sister, even though she was older than most of you. Mars clicks her tongue. Oh yeah, Administrator Seek is looking for you. I guess they need someone to do delivery jobs. She waves vaguely at the door behind her, distracted by her thoughts. Well, we cannot still apply for supply delivery. Doesn't matter how much they're looking for us. Okay, well. Whatever should we do for this month? I feel like a little bit of physical activity would do us good. Let's try that. A little bit of sports. Let's see. And a 1, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Okay, this looks good. Well, maybe I could have not used 2 cards. And then the last one would gain that too. Oh well. Still, some extra bravery. The colony is going to hold a funeral for Tammy. Do you want to attend? If you don't feel up to it, you could just skip it and take the month off instead. Or you could get back to work. Well, personally, I am the kind of guy who would rather grieve by myself. That's the way I did it when my grandparents passed. But I think, as Solanaceae, we have been communally raised, so attending the funeral seems like one of those things. That would be a natural answer. You know? I'm obviously not gonna say Tammy who. Like, who in their right mind would actually pick that option? The colonists gather in the recycling room. Bringing organics down to be recycled here is one of your chores, but you've only come here for a funeral twice. Both times, a colonist had passed away from natural causes during the 20-year-long journey from Earth. This is the first time there's been a funeral on Vertamna, and the first time for someone you actually knew. The mouth of the organics recycler has been polished and the wreath of yellow flowers placed over the opening. Inside, you can see a shrouded figure. Tammy's small, fragile body. Tammy's dad, Uncle Tonin, is here, as well as your parents, an antecedent, and the rest of the council. Kelly's here with his mom and her partners, already crying in their arms. The room is packed with people, and the feeling of grief is so thick you can taste it in your mouth. Governor Judicott stands before the assembled crowd. There are no words to ease the pain we feel today, she begins solemnly. There is only the sad company of those of us left behind to share the burden of that grief. Tammy was our child, she continues. One of the first humans to be born in space, and the first to die on an alien planet. In her short life, she exemplified the very arc of human accomplishment, bending hopefully towards life beyond our humble Earth. She is the first of us who can truly call Vertamna home. Her passing was as senseless as it was sudden. Losses like this are impossible to hold within oneself, a painful reminder that life is impossibly precious and fragile. But they also remind us, as always, that as a community we are capable of great strength. Judicott closes the door to the recycler. You hear Uncle Tonin sob over the hum of the particle disintegrators beginning their work. As a community, we remember Tammy. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way, Tammy, our child from the stars, will never truly be lost to us. The ceremony is adjourned, but a few people stay back to console Uncle Tonin as he keeps vigil over the recycler. Kel and Uncle Tonin hold each other and weep openly. Your mom stays behind to receive Tammy's remains. As the head of geoponics, she'll be responsible for adding them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. Your dad accompanies you out of the recycling room. He clears his throat. I want you to know that you don't need to be okay, he says, clasping his warm hand on your shoulder. If you want to take the rest of the month off, everyone's going to understand. Yeah, sure. We're gonna do that. The prospect of just going back to school like everything is normal is too much to handle. You end up spending the whole month alternating between sleeping, scrolling the HoloNet, and staring into space. It's restful, at least, and everyone gives you the time you need to process Tammy's death. Well, all of that happened. I think I'm going to take a bit of a break here myself. Death has never been a topic that I particularly cared about reading. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming for me. The first time I read this, I did cry. Reasonable amount. And the only reason I think that I didn't today is because I still remember this part. It was quite an impact. But most things after this are gonna be fresh actually. So I do hope you're taking some enjoyment out of my reading this story with varying degrees of success. If you do, please leave this video a like. If you don't, then please tell me in the comments why I'm not doing good, so that I may learn and improve. And as always, I'm gonna be back with something else. I'll maybe see you the next time. Until then, have a nice day.